Yes, everybody, this is TinMan TV. I, of course, am your host, the one, the only, the heartless son of a bitch, Tin Man, Chris Sheldon with the Worldwide Resistance Network, where if you haven't figured it out already, you are the resistance. And if you don't know why you are the resistance, it's because everything we do is of the people, by the people, for the people. So if you like these podcasts, share the live feeds, follow us on our various social medias, X, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, all at REALTWWRN. Check out our online store, REALTWWRN.printify.me. And as always, feel free to join in the conversation. Comments are now enabled. If you have any thoughts, opinions, information, an answer to a question that we might ask on the panel, feel free to chime in at any time. Because again, this is not just about us. This is not about me. This is not about my co-hosts on the round table. This is about you guys. So come be a part of the show. And on that note, also, I did plug the online store, but I want to show you guys what we got going here with this online store. We've done quite a few changes to the online store. And if I can get it pulled up. There we go. We've done a lot of changes to the store, and like I said, there's always new merchandise coming out. We've got more shirts coming out next week, but we just dropped our 250th anniversary shirts. That pulled up for me, please. Thank you. Okay. Our 250th anniversary shirts. Trump for President t-shirt. I want you to fight the New World Order, Uncle Sam. I want you to resist this, that, and the other. Flock cameras, AI data center, 15-minute cities, digital ID, and social credit scores. You guys would really love this shirt. And on the back, we've got the American flag upside down with the Shadow People logo blended into it. America under distress, and that is on the back. And on the front you have your Uncle Sam image. One of two shirts you can choose from: the control system, or I want you to fight the New World Order, or for those of you who might want to go more the religious route, I want you to resist the mark of the beast, with Jesus Christ posing as Uncle Sam. Doing the Uncle Sam pose. Not posing as Uncle Sam. He ain't a poser. I digress. Boy. Insert mouth. Insert. Open mouth. Insert foot. I'm becoming more like our president every day. I got dementia. Speaking of presidents, we also have the Tin Man for President t-shirt, which on the back has a whole mess of policy ideas and implementations. You know, everything our previous presidents should have done and should be doing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the topic of today's podcast. What a president should be doing. Policies that should be enacted. Actions that should be being taken, but are not. Because our presidents are either cowards or they're puppet sellouts. So, in case you're wondering what prompted all this, apart from the obvious. Last week on the roundtable, Tommy Bird chimed in the comments section. He was at work and he had the podcast playing for his coworkers. And many of his coworkers were saying that I should run for president. So I decided to make that a shirt. Because what the hell, why not? It's almost the end of July. Let's make that a part of the 250th birthday celebration line that we were coming out with. Again, why the hell not? But in designing the shirt, I'm thinking, okay, what kind of policies, if I were to run for president, what would I campaign on? What would be the policies that I, as a presidential candidate, would run on and subsequently implement? Now, I've said this before. Every politician that we have had, especially in the lifetimes of anybody who's alive right now, can attest to this. You have these politicians that promise this, that, and the other, and you vote for those people based on that premise, and then they get into office. Crickets. Fucking crickets. A whole mess of promises resulting in a whole mess of crickets. Frankly speaking, I'm tired of crickets. I am fucking tired of the crickets. So, I'm thinking to myself, what kind of policies should a president run on and subsequently implement? So, I came up with these. These, my brothers and sisters, are my policies. And I am going to bring this up so I can see it bigger. I'm trying to make it bigger. I really am. I'm trying to make it bigger. Okay, there we go. Okay, just so you know, I will not be able to see comments for the time being, but I will subsequently reply as I am able to. The comments will be displayed here in the bottom corner, but I will not be able to post anything or anything like that. But moving right along. A vote for TinMan is a vote for, first of all, closed borders and smart and efficient immigration and deportation policies and practices. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, first of all, you can't have an open border, okay? That's just, it's going to be bad juju, okay? Just like you don't leave your doors unlocked at night or when you're not home, okay? You want to make sure your house is secure. Okay, so that's got to be a given, regardless of whether you run as a Republican or a Democrat. The American people have sounded their voice in majority. There's a small percentage who want to say open borders, blah, blah, blah. But the vast majority of Republicans and Democrats across the board are saying, we can't have an open border policy. We need strong and secure borders and efficient immigration and deportation policies. And I'm not just talking about ICE here in terms of immigration and deportation here. Yeah, you need strong immigration policies. You need a strong agency that is going to effectively deport these people in an effective and humane manner. Now, we've had a lot of problems, and those problems need to address. Those problems need to be evaluated piece by piece. And solutions to those problems need to be presented and subsequently implemented. Okay? Because there's no reason we cannot have a safe and effective border patrol and ICE agency without these problems. We had it before during the Clinton administration, before it was ever called ICE. Before that, the first Bush administration, George Bush Jr. and his 2 administrations, and subsequently, even Obama. I think he holds the record for the most deportations as a president. So we can have a strong, effective, efficient, and humane immigration and deportation policy. Now, it's not just about deporting illegals to their respective countries in a humane and effective fashion. We also need immigration reform to where people can come to this country and it's not an uphill battle that takes the better part of a fucking decade. Now, I understand it takes time to process applications and all that, but it doesn't take 7 years. And it does not need to be that big of a pain in the ass. During the No Kings protests here in Tennessee, we had a particular, I believe she was running for Senate. You had a Senate candidate who was running for office on the Democratic caucus. And she said something I cannot disagree with. As a human being, I cannot disagree with this. You need a strong and efficient immigration process to where people can come into this country efficiently and relatively speedily. It doesn't need to be a long, drawn-out, costly, and virtually impossible process. It needs to be practical. And that is something that has not been addressed by any sitting president that I am aware of, or any members of Congress, Republican or Democrat. Nobody's addressed this. Nobody has addressed this. Most of these people have to apply for citizenship and wait years and jump through 50 million hoops. Okay? But yet there are so many more efficient ways to go about it. It should not be that insanely difficult for people to come into the United States and become citizens. Now, as far as birthright citizenship goes, I think the policy should be, in terms of birthright citizenship, if the parent is a citizen, then the child is a citizen. If the parent is not a citizen, then the child does not get citizenship. The status of the child should be contingent on the immigration status of the parent. I don't think that's a dick move. I think that's fair and unbiased. Why the hell not? So yeah, that would be my consensus on what needs to be done by a sitting president in terms of immigration all the way around. Now, next, a lot of people have been screaming this for years. And with Joe Biden and his mental health decline, and subsequently Trump and what appears to be the early onset of dementia setting in, we need term and age limits for all political offices. You cannot have political politicians sitting in office indefinitely and getting reelected over and over and over again till the day they fucking die. We need people in there. It doesn't need to be a career. These are supposed to be public servants, at which point you have a regular job, you serve in a public capacity separately and independently of your job, and then at some point you go back to your job when your terms are over. That's what needs to fucking happen. Okay? Now, the bottom of the barrel age for a person to run for president, I believe, is mid to late 30s. I believe it was 33. I may be wrong on that. But there also needs to be a cap-off point. If you have to be a certain age to be able to run for presidency, to be able to qualify to run for that job, then there needs to be an expiration date for that qualification as well. The general age is for retirement is 65. Okay? 65 is a reasonable age for people to no longer be eligible to run for a political office, because you need people who are sharp as a fucking tack and have all their screws still properly screwed in. And frankly speaking, most of these senior politicians, regardless of which side of the aisle they're on, aren't exactly firing on all cylinders as far as I'm concerned. And I think most of you would agree with that consensus. So there needs to be term limits before the mind has a chance, even the slightest chance of going, bing, bye-bye. Okay? Let's be real. And I just noticed, and I don't know if this is still happening, but Rumble does not appear to be working. Hopefully the feed is live. I'm going to refresh that real quick. Hopefully the feed is live. Okay, yes, we do seem to be live. We are live on Rumble. I don't know if anything was cut off on that. I will come back to that later. But if for whatever reason you missed the first portion on Rumble, you can backtrack on X and on YouTube and catch up on what you missed. Now, we've just finished up with term and age limits for political offices. And getting back to that for a moment, I think, the sitting president can only run for 2 terms. I think maybe 2, maybe 4 terms. Give him a good tenure. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. No less than 12. Okay, let's go 3 terms. 3 or 4 terms. Okay, I will concede 4 terms. 4 4-year terms for House and Senate. I don't think that's unreasonable. You can only be elected to that office 4 times. Revving. Maybe Porky Pig can drag his nuts across Elmer Fudd's face. You couldn't resist, could you, Revving? At least they're not scissoring. At least they're not scissoring. And for clarification on that, ladies and gentlemen, I was out and about earlier today, and I happened to see something that you don't generally see in this day and age. I saw a couple kids outside their home with a lemonade stand right there on the corner. It was the most heartwarming thing I had seen in a long time. It was vintage classic Americana. And I can't drink lemonade because I'm a diabetic, hence why you see me drinking sugar-free Cokes. But I doubled back and I kicked the kids down $5 because you don't see something like that every day. And there has been a push in modern society to kill classic Americana. Baseball, lemonade stands, homemade apple pie. And Reverend, don't you even dare think of pulling an American pie and sticking your dick in that pie, motherfucker. And yes, Reverend, lemonade stands are true Americana. So I'm like, okay, I can't drink lemonade, but I'm going to support this. I'm going to double back and I'm going to kick these kids down like $5. And apparently Revan already stuck his dick in the pie. You vicious bastard. So when I get home, I call Revan because I thought this was the coolest damn thing I'd seen in a long time. And I tell him, I'm like, dude, you were never going to guess what I saw. And he's like, Yosemite Sam and Elmer Fudd scissoring with the runs or some shit like that. And I'm like, you sick bastard. And then I told him the story of what I saw. And he agreed, yeah, that's true, Americana. But it did not stop him from being a disgusting motherfucker. So that's that. And moving on. Okay. The end of globalism. Okay. Obviously, anything globalism needs to get flushed down the toilet. Okay. It needs to be burnt to the ground. The ashes need to be picked up, dumped in the toilet, and flushed. And like go full baptism flush on that. I baptize you in the name of the Father, flush. The Son, flush. And the Holy Spirit, flush. So yeah, anything globalism needs to go. Why do you got a problem with Ukrainians, Revan? What does lesbian scissoring with the runs have to do with Ukrainians or be considered true Ukrainian? Or are you just trying to be a sick, demented bastard? Like, for real, bro, what are you trying to do here? Revan is truly a sick little monkey, ladies and gentlemen. I love him to death, but he is a sick, sick man. Man, I got to do it. I got to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Revan. Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? I just got to do it, man.
You sick little monkey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, but back to a vote for TinMan is a vote for ... What's next on the agenda? Obviously, full, unredacted Epstein, JFK, MLK, and 9/11 disclosure. Everything unredacted. I understand protecting victims and whatnot, especially where children were involved. But there is no reason why anything else should be redacted. Whether they're innocent or not, they are adults, and common sense can rule out. Take Gabriel Iglesias, for example. He's named in the Epstein files because there are Epstein emails where Epstein was trying to get tickets to Gabriel Iglesias' show. Okay? People can discern from something like that to this person is involved in human trafficking, cannibalism, pedophilia, and human and child sacrifice, and so on. So I don't see any reason why there needs to be any redactions to any of these files, and they need to come out promptly and just boom, done. And again, when it comes to the Epstein client list, all those clients who have been found to be prospectively guilty of any of these heinous crimes need to be investigated. There needs to be full investigations, arrests, prosecute to the point of prosecution. Not just, oh, we're going to subpoena these people. Oh, they're going to be indicted, blah, blah, blah. No. Arrest, try, and convict. That's what needs to fucking happen. And we know Epstein was a top dog in that whole thing, and that the organization is still up and running, even though we don't know who's behind it presently. We don't know who took Epstein's place, but we do know the organization that he was running didn't just die with him, provided he is actually dead. I'm not even getting into that. But that network needs to be exposed and dismantled. Gone. Bye-bye. Cease to exist. This network is no more. It has ceased to be. It has gone to meet its maker. Okay? And on the next item on the docket, secret societies banned. Bohemian Grove, the Trilateral Commission, Skull and Bones. To a lesser extent, Freemasons, perhaps even the Knights of Columbus. I don't know how secretive the Knights of Columbus are in their meetings or whatnot. But, anything that can be considered a secret society needs to go. There was a time when we did not tolerate that shit in this country. And we need to get back to that. Like Kennedy said, the need for secrecy is repugnant. And the dangers of concealment, of unwarranted concealment, far outweigh the dangers that are cited to justify it. So, secret societies, gone. Okay? You want to have your little club? You can have a fucking club. Okay? The Elks Club, whatever. But you just got to be open and public about what the fuck you're doing. Okay? Reverend goes, the maker needs to put a cork up Zelensky's ass because his run is porky piggish. Calm down, dude. But as far as like people like Zelensky and whatnot, okay, the next item on our list, all foreign influence, lobbying, and control of our media, banks, government, and military will be ended. That shit needs to end. Okay? And we also need actual investigations, arrests, and prosecutions of all parties and agencies involved in cover-ups of government corruption, abuse of power, constitutional violation, and treasonous activities, especially where it pertains to foreign influence and control operating within the apparatuses of the United States, whether it's our media, our financial institutions, our government, our military. That shit needs to be addressed and people need to go to jail. Okay, you've got 216 members of Congress who openly committed treason recently by voting to merge Israel with the United States military and give them access to all of our military technology and secrets. And having the ability to bypass Congress in the process. Okay? These people have committed treason. And we all know what the punishment for treason is, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. You go night-night. Okay? So, once that's taken care of, what's next on the to-do list? A restoration of all lost or circumvented rights, including removal of unconstitutional laws and practices. I would effectively call that legislation the Constitutional Restoration Act. Restoring the Bill of Rights and Constitution. So let's call it the Bill of Rights and Constitutional Restoration Act. Okay, where all previously stripped rights are restored, and any laws that violate, circumvent, or even come close to violating the Constitution, gone. Yes, the Bill of Rights needs to be restored, and that's what needs to happen. And next, we need serious reform of the criminal justice system, i.e. jails, prisons, and criminal and civil and family courts, okay, in particular, okay? The prison system being treated like a business and getting taxpayer money per head, that's not good, okay? We're supposed to be the land of the free, but yet we have the highest incarceration rate on the planet. If one of the highest, if not the highest incarceration rate on the planet. And on that note, it's supposed to be rehabilitation. But yet, 9 times out of 10, the people that go in come out having learned to be better criminals. And the situation only gets worse. I cannot tell you how many people I've seen who went into the system and came out just as bad or worse. Okay? And you look at drug addicts. How much help is really offered to those people in prisons? I mean, you can barely get your hands on toilet paper, let alone get the programs needed to get and keep you clean. Yeah, you've got AA and Narcotics Anonymous that work with these prisons, but you have the temptation, influence, and the networking of these prison systems by way of the system that's implemented within these prisons, to where the avoidance of criminal behavior, especially drugs and narcotics, is almost impossible to avoid. And if you're an addict, you can't get well in the environment that made you sick, or an environment of an equal or devastating nature. So yeah, there needs to be serious reform there. And you especially need reform in civil and family court matters as well. Okay, I could spend all day on those issues. You know, evidence needs to be presented in a criminal case, but not in a civil case. Okay, I think that in particular needs to change. And I think when it comes to civil matters, the judge needs to rule in favor of the evidence, especially in terms of what is actually in the best interest of the child, and not what is in the best interest of the courts and them serving to come up financially and have financial gain and act as a third party to a transaction between those people and the state. The courts and the state need to be removed from marriage and family matters for the most part. And there needs to be some serious fucking reform done to divorce and family courts. Like, no joke. And how those laws, the laws and how those laws are implemented. You cannot keep on with the way things are going, because it's undermining society. It's undermining the family. Now, divorce in particular needs to stop being treated as a revolving door, and divorce and people being rewarded for divorcing and initiating divorces. You shouldn't be rewarded for that, for breaking a contract. In any other instance, you are not rewarded. You are penalized for breaking a contract. But if you break the marriage contract, especially if you're a woman, you get rewarded for it. Alimony, division of assets, child custody, child support, the list goes on and on. Yeah, and why does that happen? Because judges get kickbacks. And because they're working as a third party in your transaction to the state. It shouldn't be transactional. The court should not be a transactional institution. Hey, that shit needs to end. Hey, moving on. End of the Federal Reserve and taxation. Okay, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. The Federal Reserve needs to go bye-bye. And the IRS needs to go bye-bye. Now, I think we would all agree with that, know all the reasons why. End taxation, go back to the way things were back prior to 1913 as far as our monetary systems are concerned. And that includes restoring the U.S. back to the gold and silver standards. And on that note, next, make private property absolute. Okay, with the end of taxation, that includes the end of yearly property tax. If you own your property, you bought it, you paid for it, it's yours. Nobody can come in and take that motherfucker from you. No loopholes, none of that shit. You close the loopholes and you make private property rights absolute. Okay, no if, ands, or buts. If I bought it, I paid for it, it's mine. You don't like it? Suck my dick backwards and buy me a fucking milkshake. I'll take the high blood sugar on that one. Okay. And on that note, gotta take a quick break. I gotta go get me a new sody. So I will be right back. So there you go. Enjoy the commercials. I'll be right back.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Reverend Ordo, and I'm a co-host of the Worldwide Resistance Network. I want to let you know about my content on my so here, check me out on Minds, Gab, MeWe, Cloud Hub, Tumblr, Parler, Getter, Rumble, Scoops, TikTok, and also on YouTube on the Anonymous Manawai Network and the Anonymous Republic Network. Also on Truth Social. And also check out the Worldwide Resistance Network. Also check out TinMan TV. Also on Tuesday evenings, Gray Jedi TV. Quote the Raven, "These nuts." Peace.
You are watching TinMan TV on the Worldwide Resistance Network. If you are watching this, you are the resistance. Yes, everyone, this is TinMan TV. I, of course, am your host, the Tin Man, Chris Sheldon, with the Worldwide Resistance Network. If you are just tuning in, we have been discussing what a president should do in terms of policy and procedure. This was prompted last week when Tommy Bird was sharing the roundtable with some of his co-workers, and many of his co-workers were saying that they liked what I was saying and suggested I run for president, which prompted me to create the Tin Man for President t-shirt, where on the back it has the image, a vote for Tin Man is a vote for, and we go down the policy list. And I got to thinking about it over this past week, that it would be a great idea to discuss these policies and ideas in terms of what a president should actually be doing. Now, granted, I am not actually running for president, at least not considering an actual presidential run, but it does make for a good shirt and a good talking point, especially in terms of policies that a president should enact. Now, if people actually do want me to run for president, I'm not necessarily opposed to the idea, but I sure as hell don't have the capital for it. So if you want me to run for president, please support the broadcast by going and find a shirt or a hat or bumper sticker or any number of items that are featured on our online store at REALTWWRN. You get a great shirt. You support the podcast, and hell, if we get enough money, hell, maybe I just might run for president. You never know. But getting back to the point at hand, regardless of whether I were or were not to consider a presidential run, most people could agree that the policies that are now featured on this screen are policies that should inherently be implemented. And Reverend goes, I couldn't run because I'm too much of an asshole. Yeah, I'm an asshole too, but you know what? Donald Trump's an asshole and he got elected twice. Okay? Whereas you and I actually have a brain on our shoulders and we're not fucking sellouts who could be fucking bought. You know, not to say that they've even tried. Have I at least tried? Hey, I might take the money. I don't know. Probably not. I'm too much of an asshole. I don't know. I don't think I could ever shut up. I just have too much of a heart. Yeah, that's why that's one of the reasons why they call me Tin Man. Because I can be a cold, heartless son of a bitch, or I can have the biggest, warmest heart of anybody that exists. And if you've seen the original Wizard of Oz, you understand that Tin Man had a big heart. And Reverend, what do you say? I'll try to run for president of Hooters. Yes! 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 Do it, Reverend. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Make this man the CEO of Hooters. He needs to be the new CEO and chairman of Hooters. Do it. Yes, 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 yes. On that note, I am removing comments from the stage. People will still be able to comment if they want to, but I need to be able to see this text. So actually, I won't turn off comments. Let me see if I can move them somewhere else. Would. Oh, I can make them bigger. Cool. But, oh yeah. Buffalo wings and blowjobs. Blow knobs. He said blow knobs. You said blow knobs. I like that. What's a blow knob? Okay. Oh. I wonder, can I get that to switch sides here? Maybe? No. No. No, worry with me. I want to move the dinger to the other side. No, wait! No! Yep, visual effects, edit mic. Nope. No! I can't get it to work. Okay, so I'm just going to have to minimize comments here, but yes, blowjob, we know what you meant, Revan. But I'm going to go ahead and minimize comments here so I can finish up on this. And the next item on the docket: end the surveillance state by placing strong restrictions on AI and job replacement technologies and outright banning digital ID and social credit score mark of the beast type systems in the United States. Obviously, those need to go. Okay, you don't need flock cameras. You don't need robots and artificial intelligence replacing jobs that a single human being could do safely and efficiently. Okay, I've seen robots pushing carts. I've seen robot trains hauling multiple carts in varying facilities. We've seen robotic Uber drivers and Amazon drones delivering packages. It's like, dude, no. If a human being can safely do these jobs, let them do it. Now, I understand cutting down labor necessity, okay? Especially after slavery, it became very costly to pay people a fair wage, especially when you had to hire a large number of people. So, farm equipment, the evolution of farm equipment, I can understand that to a point. To a point. I can understand robots to handle heavy equipment to lift something that a human being shouldn't be able to lift or shouldn't be continuously lifting, lest it cause long-term or short-term injury. Or robots that handle things that are too hot or too cold for people to handle with their bare hands. Okay, I understand that. Okay? But a robot to press in an emblem on a hubcap or to drive carts around on an automated track or a digital pre-programmed track? Come on. And I can even understand robots to make a person's job easier, but not replace the job of a person that can do the job safely and efficiently. Okay? And this data center nonsense, it's fucking ridiculous. We got along fine without AI, and we can have decent functioning AI as it is without building 50 million fucking data centers to hold all my information. Fuck you, you don't need to know my fucking information as if it weren't already online anyway. Fuck off with that shit. Hey, so that shit needs to go out the fucking window. For real. out the window, gone, bye-bye, never coming back again. Again, out the window, just like this.
We need to go now. The deep state is scraping our signals. They're eating the babies. No time to explain.
Yeah, just like that. Out the window, just like that. And last but not least, leaving and banning all world organizations. We don't need to be a part of that shit. Now, I understand the reasoning why people wanted the United Nations after World War II. We got it. But we see the direction that it's going, and we see the motive that they had in creating and maintaining these systems. No bueno. Especially where it is concerning our domestic policy and how we operate within the United States. Now, internationally, I get it. But when it starts impeding on your national sovereignty and your way of life, then it's become a problem and it's got to go. Okay? And I've already discussed many times how we can solve this world peace problem. And many other people are pointing this out as well, pointing out these variables as well. Okay, and it has to do with alliances and putting certain countries on a leash. Okay, I don't think I need to go into details there. That's a whole other topic for a whole other episode. But I think this pretty much sums it up. Now, you can add a few things to this. I would probably say making it law. I would probably add also that all law legislation has to be clear and concise. You know, no more of these 1,000-page documents with this, that, or the other baked in. It's just one piece of legislation for one piece, for one particular topic, and you vote on it individually. You vote on things topic by topic by topic. None of this 1,000-page bullshit and stuff baked in crap. That shit needs to end as well. Okay. And I'd bake that right into term limits and age limits for all political parties. Okay. But on that note, I think we've kind of gone as far as we can here. If anybody has any thoughts or opinions on this matter, or things that they would add, feel free to share it in the comments section below. Revan's been having way too much fun on this chat. Now he's talking about, bro, Dong order the buffalo queef wings. Like, why is everything got to be queefing with you, man? Why is everything queefing? Like, seriously, bro. Why with the queefing? Why endlessly queefing? Like, seriously, bro. Seriously. Last night it was bike pumps. Today he's queefing. We need to get this guy laid. There's a new presidential policy. Get Revan laid. But on that note, again, that was all brought about. What did you say? Don't order the buffalo queefing wings. Again with the queefing. Quit queefing. You queefing bastard. We need to get this guy laid. Seriously. This man needs to get laid. He needs to get some pussy. Like, this man needs to get laid. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I will die on that hill. But Yeah. Again, the reason all this came up was because last week, several people suggested that I run for president. They liked my ideas. They liked the things I was talking about and the points I was making. They're like, this guy should run for president. So that prompted me to create the TinMan for President t-shirt, which on the back, as you can see, has all of these policies. Now, there is so much more that a president could and should do, but I think this covers the most of it. This definitely covers a huge chunk. Probably doesn't cover everything, but definitely covers a huge chunk. And on the front of the shirt, you've got the updated TinMan imagery with how I look present day. Again, I took that photo the other night and superimposed it over the existing TinMan TV logo. And then changed the text from TinMan TV to TinMan for President. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So again, if you want me to run for president, pick up your TinMan for TV or TinMan for President shirt at REALTWWRN.printify.me. That's our online store with that and tons of great merchandise with even more to come. And if we make enough money, we can maybe do a presidential run. I don't know. I will say this, though. It's got to be better than this bullshit. Okay? I guarantee you ain't going to see me doing that shit. I guarantee you that ain't going to be me. And I am not happy that we have a president who acts like this. It was essentially a bitch to a foreign power. Big no-no in my book. Big no-no in my book. Yeah. Check out our online store. Tons of great merchandise there. And as always, if you enjoyed these podcasts, please show your love and support by sharing the live feed, sharing the retransmissions, even if we're off air. Follow us on our various social medias, X, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, because none of these social media platforms are doing us any favors. They're all globalist run. We're anti-globalist. They ain't doing us any fucking favors. So when I say it's that these podcasts and the Worldwide Resistance Network is of the people, by the people, for the people, and you are the resistance, no truer statements could ever be said. Because you're the ones that we do this for, and you're the ones that make this possible. So please support the broadcast by sharing the live feeds, following us on our social medias, picking up something at our online store, and keeping the conversation going. We always respond to you. We're not like those other podcasters and radio hosts that throw out a hotline number and only take a handful of calls. No. It's anybody who wants to join in the conversation can do so. And even if we're offline, we'll still engage with you. I might be busy. One of us might be busy when you happen to leave a comment, but I will respond. Reverend will respond. Connor will respond. We're here. We ain't going nowhere. We do this for you. We fight for you. And all we ask is that you have our backs. All right, because we love you. We love humanity. Even though people tend to do dumb shit sometimes. Still got nothing but love. And again, Reverend says it's better than queefing chicken sauce if you order a salad. Why? Why? Why, Reverend? Why? Why you do this to me, man? Love you to death, bro, but you're a weird motherfucker sometimes. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and call it So, thank you, Reverend, for chiming in the comment section. Thank you for everybody who tuned in. And be sure to tune in tomorrow on the Anonymous Republic Network for Revan's show, Gray Jedi TV, and all of his subsequent podcasts that come up throughout the week, the remainder of the week. And as for me, I will see you back here Monday evening, 8 p.m. Central Time with the Roundtable. Until next time, stay strong, stay safe. God bless you all. And if you are watching this, you are the resistance.
You can hear this. You are not alone. This is the resistance.